Here is one of the books that I ordered as research for my Silver Skies. I actually had this book in the 1990s, and I read it from cover to cover, but I forgot a lot of what's in here. And this is about the Jewish holidays with a rabbi for a main character. This book will be very useful. And I'm going to be reading this thing again from cover to cover, and it's going to help me to make my rabbi believable. Because I wasn't raised in Judaism, I need to read this book with a rabbi for a main character. And when I did my research in the 1990s, I presumed that he went to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, which is a conservative Jewish synagogue. And I did a little research on that. And so I'm trying to pick books that will help me to cover what he would have learned when he was there. So this goes into real depth, like into Jewish religious practice. And it also goes into a lot of the Orthodox views because I'm at the end of the book. The way I got away with writing the first part of the book without knowing Hebrew and knowing really deep the Jewish religious practices was I faked it. But now he's going to Israel. He's going to be dealing with Orthodox Jews, so I'm going to have to make my study of Judaism a little deeper because you can only fake so much before everybody figures out you're faking it as a writer and you don't know what you're writing about. To help facilitate my Hebrew language studies, my biblical Hebrew language studies, Dr. Bill Barrick, whose free online course I'm using, he recommends that you get this book. And what it does is it lists all of the Hebrew words in the Bible according to frequency. So this is a real efficient way of memorizing your vocabulary, starting with the most frequently used words in the Bible to the least frequently used words in the Bible. This way I can really enhance my ability to understand the Hebrew Bible in the quickest and most efficient manner possible by memorizing the words according to frequency. So it provides the student with a vocabulary list by word frequency of words appearing 10 times or more in the Hebrew text. Unlike other vocabulary lists, this work combines all word forms in a single list, simplifying the student's task of learning all words of a given frequency. So I'm going to be trying to memorize. My goal is to memorize maybe up to about the middle of the book. I don't know. I'm just going to try to learn all these. My goal is to be able to read the Bible in Hebrew. I really want to thank my supporters who gave me Christmas presents. That's what enabled me to get these books. Here's another one that I felt I needed. I do have a concordance, but it didn't have Hebrew and Greek dictionaries. So it didn't really have an ability for me to go to the original Hebrew to get the meaning. It was just all English. King James Bible is the one I have most memorized and that I know the most well. So it's the best. This is all I need, even though my parallel Bible goes into other versions. So what I can do is like look up a word here. And I also got a magnifying glass to help me read this. And it'd be like word 1436. Then I'd go to the Hebrew section at the end of it and look up the Hebrew word for one. It has a Greek dictionary too. And then I can, then I can find out what it means in Hebrew. There's a very detailed, you do need a magnifying glass for this, but I got a magnifying glass. So let's say I have a scene with my Rabbi Dor and he's talking with an Orthodox Jew and they're arguing about something in the Bible. By using this, I can fake like I'm fluent in Hebrew when I read it, and I can, have Dor explaining that in Hebrew to his. You say, well, how are you going to work this in your novel? I mean, you're going to bore us with Hebrew everyone. No, I'm going to just sprinkle it here and there to create an aura of truthfulness, to make it seem like he's really in Israel and he's really a rabbi and he's really almost like half fluent in Hebrew like most rabbis are. This is another thing that I felt was necessary. This is basically about Jewish religion, its people, and its history. A very thick book. I'm planning on probably reading this from cover to cover. By the time I'm through reading all these books and studying Hebrew, I'm going to know enough to create a very believable, compelling main character. My rabbi is my main character. And I got the Hebrew Bible on my Kindle, but This was the largest print I could get because Hebrew has all these pointings to show you what the vowel means. I got a magnifying glass too, so I want to thank the people who gave me Christmas presents. Now this was free. Everything on my Kindle for Hebrew language studies is free. I also got the grammar course, but anyways, so I ordered this, and you can see this is all about Judaism and their history. Every rabbi would know this. So, I'm going to have this knowledge, and then I can like sprinkle it into the text, into the novel to make my rabbi seem real. Here's where I'm at with Bill Barrick's online Hebrew course. What I did is I downloaded his grammar book, which he offers for free, and it's in a PDF file, and I put it on my Kindle. This is the largest font I can get. And so I use a magnifying glass as I go through his class here. I'm in chapter 5 right now. Learning about the syllables. I've already learned the alphabet, the basic vowels. There's still a lot more to learn. So I plan on studying him for a while. Hebrew is a hard language for an English-speaking person to learn. I have to use a magnifying glass though. So I wasn't able to read his stuff till I got the magnifying glass. Here's another book I ordered. And it's going from right to left, like the way Hebrew reads. This helps me because I'm a visual learner. It's helping me to master the alphabet, and I'm just helping me to be able to read the Hebrew text. I like the big bold print here. Here's where I'm at. And I just read it, and I read the letters out loud and try to pronounce them correctly. I don't know what most of these mean, but this is mainly to learn how to read, which is the first thing you need to do in learning Hebrew. And once you learn how to read the language, then you go in and start trying to learn all the grammar and the words and all that. So you got to this has got to become like second nature, where you can just read this without having to think about it too much. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it, and this is going to help me. And so I ordered this. Thank you so much for enabling me to order this. This is going to help me to make Silver Skies a first-class novel, and I'm also going to be learning Hebrew, which I find very satisfying, partly because I'm half King David, and also because I would love to be able to read the Bible in Hebrew. I'm finding it very satisfying already. I've already started. This shows you the work that goes into making those flashcard videos. I mean, wow. First I make an audio version, and then I get the timings down. You see that? And it's just really hard work. It takes me all day. I'm trying to get more efficient. I also made some flashcards to help me with, these are my own homemade flashcards. I got something online, I printed it, and I was able to make my own flashcards. This is the Aleph Beit. No. These are the vowels, excuse me. This is this is Comets, Patak, right there. These are the vowels. And then here are the flashcards I made. Very helpful. So I've been going through these. I made some flashcards to help me learn the alphabet, the vowels, the begad, kafat letters, very important if you're studying Hebrew, to get this biblical Hebrew, to get this down. Not very good for the camera here. Sade, and then the back is like this. So I'm going to be going through these. This took me a while to make these, but Jesus told me to only spend money on food and bills, and I mostly use Christmas money to buy the rest. These are flashcards I've made to help me memorize vocabulary and the alphabet and the vowels. So I use flashcards along with my videos that I make, both because my memory is so horrible to try to memorize this language. Here's the Hebrew keyboard. I have 2 pages. This is like regular keys, and it's kind of nice because it's very similar to the ASDF, JKL, colon, so if you know your Hebrew letters, I'm catching on really quick. Here's using the shift key, and I had to play some tricks with fonts to get it to work. I downloaded it. Here's some of my homework for my Hebrew class. This is from I think the book of Zephaniah. I can't remember which book it was, but our assignment was to copy the Hebrew letters and then put the first time this is a particular verse in the Bible where every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet is there. So every time there's a first time occurrence, I wrote it down, and then also for the Comets, the Sophite, the final versions. So I did that, and then here's my homework. copying the alphabet. I kind of goofed a little bit, but I fixed it. So I'm trying to do a lot of the homework that Dr. Bill Barrick recommends for his Hebrew class. You know, there's everything you need to learn biblical Hebrew for free online, and I'll have a link to that underneath this video. And these are the same courses taught at the Master's Seminary around 2005 and 2006, and I've created video flashcards to help learn the vocabulary lists in the course. If you've probably seen those videos coming up. I'll be adding to these as I progress in the course. It's a lot of work to make these video flashcards. First, I take the audio of Dr. Barrick reading and explaining the vocabulary list, and I edit it at Audacity to prepare it for the video. I write down the exact times I need to end and start the flashcards on a piece of paper. Next, I create the flashcards using my Biblical Hebrew keyboard in Microsoft Word 2007 using the Tahoma and Tinos font at 36 to 72 size font. I learned that these are the best fonts to use because only the Tinos font allows me to make the Hataf Segol or the compound schwa often underneath the that X's, that's the Aleph. I gave up on using GIMP because GIMP won't let me make the Hebrew alphabet letters seen and sheen with the dots. I have to type the Hebrew at Microsoft Word to get these and use the correct font. I had to play around with fonts to figure out which ones would work. I also can't make compound schwas correctly at GIMP, and I have to do these at Word. So I do a screenshot or a print screen of the picture, copy and paste it to Paint, and then save it as a PNG file. Next, I open up the file with Paint 3D, crop it 3.5 like a 3x5 card, and save it. I have to switch between keyboards to make the Hebrew and English flashcards front and back of the flashcard. When I edit the audio, I make it so that the viewer gets maximum exposure to the Hebrew to assist those who are visual learners like me, but then there's audio too to help out audio learners. I'm unable to include accent marks in my flashcards. It's not part of my Hebrew keyboard, but I've got enough there to do the job. I create the video, adding each side of the flashcard and its exact time from the exact times that I wrote on a piece of paper, which I showed you earlier, as I create the audio using VSDC free video editor. And this takes a while, and sometimes I goof, so I got to go in there and edit. I listen through it all to see if it's set up for maximum learning, trying to use it to help me memorize Hebrew vocabulary lists. It often takes me all day to do this. I hope you all appreciate this hard work. Even after all this work, as I listen to the video, I still don't have all the words memorized, their meaning and their pronunciation. But the video definitely helps me learn. Without it, my memorization would suck. I've already started trying to read the Hebrew Bible, and I find it very satisfying. Like Genesis 3:17, the word there where he listened to his wife in the Hebrew, it means he obeyed his wife. There's a lot of repercussions to that. That means men, it's better to obey God than, in fact, men aren't supposed to be obeying their wives. That's against Scripture. A woman is to be in submission to her husband. Yeah, man. If you got a bossy wife, man, she is not right with God, man. Say she is not right with God. That goes against the order that God established in the man-woman relationship in marriage. So anyways, Hebrew is a very lyrical language, and to really understand the Bible, you need to read it in the language written, like Laurie McBride. I thought of Laurie McBride when I was thinking Laurie McBride reminds me of a very evil version of Eve, except she's trying to totally reverse God's order. And you know what? She dropped bombs about 5 days ago that were so bad, I couldn't sleep for 4 hours. My nose was running like a river of water. I tried to fix it by irrigating my sinuses. Then it turned into a block. Like it felt like a block of concrete all around my nose. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe. I said, you guys, you got to destroy Lori's space fleet. She shouldn't be able to drop bombs like this. And that was terrible. I mean, that woman is awful, man. This is what happens when you go against, and anybody who's following her, you're evil, man. Anybody who's following that woman, you're evil. It's like following the most evil version of Eve. She calls my men cucks. Her men are her cucks. These videos I'm creating to help memorize the vocabulary are a real learning tool. You know, when you learn a language, if you don't know what a lot of the words mean in the language, you're lost. That's why I'm trying to enhance my ability to increase my Hebrew vocabulary. I'm going to have a link for all that underneath this video.